In the kingdom of Alvaron, warriors were praised for the enemies they defeated. Dragons, demons, beasts of the north, spirits of the dead. Every victory was written in the royal records. And among all warriors, one name stood above the rest, Kron. He had fought in more battles than anyone alive. He had crossed burning deserts, frozen oceans, and cursed forests, where even light refused to stay. People called him the Unbroken Blade, but the truth was different. Kron was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix, a deeper kind. The kind that sat quietly in the chest and never left. One evening, a royal messenger arrived at the tavern where Kron sat alone. The man bowed low. "Sir Kron, the king requests your presence immediately." Kron sighed, finished his drink, and stood. Another mission, another fight, another victory that would feel empty. The throne hall was silent when he entered. The king sat still, his face unreadable. "Kron," the king said slowly, "I have a task for you. One that no warrior has completed." Kron knelt. "Name it." The king leaned forward. "In the far east lies the Silent Valley." Some of the guards shifted uneasily. Even speaking the name made people uncomfortable. "They say a creature lives there," the king continued. "A creature that steals joy from men." Kron frowned. "Steals joy?" "Yes," the king said. "Those who return from the valley are not wounded, not cursed, not sick." He paused. "They simply lose the will to live." The hall fell silent. Kron stood up. "I will go." The king watched him carefully. "You have not asked what the creature looks like." Kron gave a faint smile. "It doesn't matter. They all fall the same way." The journey took many days. Kron crossed villages where people worked without speaking. He passed soldiers who stared at nothing. He saw merchants counting gold with empty eyes. Everywhere he went, he felt the same thing. People were alive, but they were not living. At night, he could not sleep. His mind kept running. Past battles, future fights. Things he should have done, things he should have said. Even in silence, his thoughts were loud, louder than any battlefield. After weeks of travel, he reached the Silent Valley. It was not dark, not cursed, not filled with monsters. It was peaceful, too peaceful. A river flowed slowly between green hills. The wind moved gently through the grass. Birds sang somewhere far away. Kron walked carefully, hand on his sword. He waited for an attack. Nothing came. He climbed a hill. Nothing. He searched the forest. Nothing. He waited until night. Still nothing. No creature. No shadow. No enemy. For the first time in his life, there was nothing to fight. Hours passed. Then more hours. Kron sat near the river, exhausted. He placed his sword on the ground beside him. The sound of the water filled the silence. At first, his mind kept moving. What if the monster appears? What if I fail the mission? What if the king was wrong? What if I wasted my time? Thought after thought. Nose inside his head. Then slowly, he noticed the sound of the water. Clear, steady, calm. He noticed the wind touching his face. He noticed the warmth of the sun on his armor. He noticed his own breathing. In, out, for the first time in years. His mind stopped running. He did not try to stop it. He did not try to control it. He just sat and listened. Minutes passed, or maybe hours. He didn't know. A strange warmth filled his chest. Not excitement, not victory. Something softer. Something quieter. Peace. Kron looked around slowly. The valley had not changed. The river was the same. The wind was the same. The sky was the same. Only one thing was different. His mind. He whispered to himself, "So this is the creature, not a beast, not a demon, not a curse, just a mind that never stops chasing the next battle." He laughed quietly. All his life he had searched for stronger enemies. But the one that stole his joy was the voice in his own head. Always pushing, always worrying, always wanting more, never letting him be here. When Kron returned to the castle, the king was waiting. "Did you defeat it?" the king asked. Kron nodded. "Yes." The king stood. "What was the creature?" Kron walked to the window and looked outside. The sun was setting over the city. People were rushing. Guards were shouting. Merchants were arguing. Life moving too fast. He spoke softly. "It was not in the valley." The king frowned. "Then where?" Kron placed his hand on his chest. "Here." Silence filled the hall. Kron continued. "It was the part of me that never stopped running. never stopped wanting the next victory. Never stopped thinking about tomorrow. He smiled faintly. The valley had no monster. It only had silence. The king whispered, "And the silence defeated you." Kron shook his head. "No." He looked at the sunset. "It freed me." That evening, Kron returned to the tavern. The same nose, the same people, the same stories, but this time, he did not rush. He sat down slowly. He poured a drink. He listened to the music. He watched the light from the window, and for the first time in many years, he was not thinking about the next battle. He was just there. And in that quiet moment, he felt something rarer than victory. Joe, moral for caption, overending. Sometimes, there is no monster stealing your happiness. Sometimes the mind is just too busy chasing the next thing to notice the life happening right now. Slow down, breathe, be here.